we should not have to talk in order to communicate. From behind the veils of the darkness, I come to say the impossible words again. Here I make intercourse to conceive the light. In the beginning was the Word, but the Word was the mere design of perpetual motion, not a shepherd's tool to farm dependency for definitions and make man the slave. We say that God hears us if we speak in our hearts and not out loud, and it is true. Man learned to lie when he learned to speak with voice instead of inherent telepathic communication. He was also deceived because reckoning was turned from inward to outward, and he has been controlled ever since. Woe was the day when language became a necessity. When we read books about past histories of beings that came to earth, they recorded that the earthman was happy and playful but never seemed to use words at communicating. He did make sounds, but not to the degree of speech. He communicated telepathically, and this meant that he had an inherent and pure transfer of truth in his entire discourse with others. I am always friends with many animals. Sometimes they seek me out and we learn from each other. Sometimes they are smaller creatures, even butterflies that came once, and we learn much from each other. Cats come to visit me, and they know what time and when and how to communicate their meanings. Every single one of my neighbors complain about animals like dogs and cats that come by seeking help or maybe food. I did also in the past, but now I never have a problem. Anyone who knows me will verify this. The cat will go inside their houses and steal. The dogs will trash their bins or take away their shoes, and the list goes on to the degree that they swear to destroy the animals after getting frustrated with the situation. The animals never steal from me and never bring disorder in my space. They know how to behave, what to do, and what to do not. I am at peace with them and they are at peace with me, but they did not learn my demands by verbal doctrines. Where I live, there are particular dogs that are great friends with me. Here is the phenomenon. You know how you have to restrain them. For most people, they do not trust and will attack, right? I will take them for walks to keep them happy, but I do not have a fixed time to do so. Sure, they know words and they understand fairly complex speech because I make sure they do. If I speak with words, they know how to respond with actions that I can interpret. If I say, for example, are you hungry? They use their tongues to say yes. If I say, do you want to go and walk? They use their feet to scratch at the ground. They figure these responses out by themselves. I can ask an older one to babysit the younger one by making sure he does not leave the back of the yard. He never lets me down that way. He will first try to call the sibling back and then he will call me if that fails. He uses a special call that I will recognize. He also uses that tone to alert me if a baby from upstairs is trying to come out alone. And you know how kids are. But here is the big one. I discovered that as soon as I have the idea in my mind to work them and determined to do it, they know. As soon as I have this idea and I determine to do it, they know. I have proven this by repeating the process over and over again until I was certain of it. If I am upbeat about taking them for a walk and I push the door, they are ready and excited. But if I did not create that energy, they are all normal. They have always been communicated. We as human, as man, we always never knew because mankind has become dead like zombies. I told you already, if a part of your body, say a hand, was severed and someone was hitting it, as long as it is alive, you will feel the trauma. By blood and by DNA, humans are connected, and we are connected by universal strands to the universe. All is one, and I know that science will not try and disprove this. In the same way that you hear yourself, you hear others. You are just insensitive. You hear yourself in your head, you hear others in your head, but it is at a lower frequency and you are not discerning. You are just insensitive, and this is the anomaly. However, you have taken on the disease, and now the sound attributes become the anomaly. So the one who is normal is the one you say is not. It's like what they do by making it seem like a crime to be heterosexual. And then in time, those that are straight will be made out to be the anomaly. This is the kind of trajectory that turns a civilization of soul beings into reprobates and bastards of perpetual motion. We hear each other's thoughts, wills, and intentions echo in the wind and come into us. Those that are those that are sensitive come to find out the oneness of the universe, and that this is how it works. In our true way of living, there is only pure truth. There is no lie, for there cannot be any. With speech, where there is no apple to someone, he can lie and say, there is an apple here, and deceive you by it. Where there is no apple, he can lie and say, there is an apple, and deceive you by it. He can say, there are no books in the bookstore. Not one book is in the bookstore when the bookstore is filled with books, and that can deceive you. With telepathic communication, whatever is communicated is simply what is. It is truth. The word is greater than the language. Animals know that man has godlike faculties, but man can be mean. One time I saw a goat watch all the people pass by and then call at me for help. Why did it not call them? Mankind is insensitive. They could not hear, and the animal in distress could tell. I went and helped, but this happens many times. A goat had a kid that was in trouble, and all it was communicating was for someone to follow it. Everyone said a joke about the goat or just went about their business. I followed it, saw the kid, and I could help. Because we are hard of hearing, we stopped listening. This is why we are stuck with deceiving spoken words. The people did not even hear the tone of that call transferring that energy. Or maybe they would not care because it was just a goat anyway. It was a living being communicating with them. The animal singled me out because it knew me from the energy I was communicating. If we communicate love into the channels, we make the earth a better place. Sometimes I do not know what people are communicating at all. It is an energy so piercing that they look at you in the back and it feels like the points of daggers in your spine. You feel their eyes, but it doesn't feel good. People would say I was shy and nervous as a child. I was nervous around people because just being there felt like abuse. Going to school, going to church, going to the shop, taking a message to a friend for my mother, all these things, all these energies. I would rather go away and stay by myself to think about the circle of life, to think about the higher joys and be comforted. Man believes that he will keep the evil energies in his mind, the evil thoughts, so that no one will know them. Then he will speak the kind words, so people will never know who he is. And when you send a discerning child to the person you refer to as good, kind, honorable, you send that child to torment. This is the life of those who are empaths, and they get nervous, their speech is stopped, for they are confused between what is real and what is fake. No. Before man regains his divine faculty, science will come and entice him. Technology will be given to replace his inherent faculties, and he will be controlled again in another way, this time by a device that is in his control, that will turn around, possess, and control him. Give thanks to the Most High for those of us that rose to the zenith of the sun. Mankind is insensitive. We call, but they do not hear. They are reading, they are researching, but they are not listening. Peace out.